A plan to get back at my wife for cheating on me. I sat on the swing and watched the spider weave its web. It was a few minutes before the new day started. This spider had chosen the bottom of a children's slide in a public park. Back and forth, it crossed the exit point of the slide. I marveled at the completed web. Such an intricate creation built in one night. You have to have a plan. The spider did it, and he only had to work once to dine like a king for the rest of his life. Okay? Maybe there were some holes in his plan, but hey, he who doesn't risk doesn't win. I'm rooting for you, buddy. My plan is as ridiculous as yours, but I have a plan too. Only spiders and crickets heard my voice. Today was Monday, and it was the first day of my plan. If all goes according to plan, we'll soon see the last domino knuckle fall at night. My name is Blake Fall. I married Shauna shortly after we graduated from the University of Michigan. We both found jobs in the suburbs of Detroit. Our backgrounds are unspeakably boring. Typical college students finding each other, trying others, and then coming back to each other. I'm a little insecure, and that leads me to the land of jealousy. I can be a real asshole to Shauna. If I don't like the way she dresses or acts in public, I blow up at her, sometimes in public. Not that she didn't know that. We talked endlessly about actions and consequences. Despite my shortcomings, Shauna agreed to marry me. No problem, right? Shauna and I are avid shooters. We've taken all the courses. Defensive pistol course, NRA basic pistol course, and the courses required for a concealed carry permit. We hold shooting tournaments at the indoor range. Shauna has won the Annie Oakley Award for Best Female Shooter more than once. I'm not as bad, but I'm not as good as her. The suburbs of Detroit have mostly great neighborhoods to live in. There are a few where it can be easier on the soul knowing she's close by, armed and alert. We still attend a lot of games: soccer, basketball, and baseball. I played all three sports in high school, but in college I focused on academics. The fact is, I am nowhere near talented enough to compete in sports at the college level. Last Thursday. It's going to take me forever to get home. I perked up when Greg, my coworker, pounded his fist on the table. How do you know this, Greg? I'm looking at a traffic camera at the intersection of Highways 7 and 82. There's a pickup truck on its side and a car on top of it. No way this is going to be taken apart tonight. This is a must-see. I walked to Greg's office and looked at the screen. My stomach cramped. Standing next to the paramedics, gauze wrapped around her head, was Shauna. At least I think it was her. She has a very distinctive tattoo on her left arm from shoulder to wrist. The people on camera were too small to confirm my suspicions. Apparently her flight to Chicago yesterday left without her. The truck lying on its side looked familiar. Can we get some pictures of the accident? What's of interest? I think I recognize that truck. I'll have to dig into my memory banks, but I know it's familiar to me. Greg took a video and emailed it to me. After enlarging the frame, I'm pretty sure it's Shauna's. Yesterday's phone call is total bullshit. Flight without incident. Nice room. Meetings went well. Miss you. Tough day tomorrow. Late flight. Don't wait up for me. On the way home, I was completely distracted. What kind of a fool had I been made out to be? How do I know this truck? Not a hint. The blue and yellow stripes on the truck haunted me. Shauna called around 7 in the evening. I transferred to messages. Hey, babe. Bad news. My cab to the airport got into an accident. I'm okay, but it left a deep gash on my forehead. Long story short, I missed my flight. I'll let you know when I get there. I love you. Call me. My heart hasn't stopped beating since I first saw that picture. The utter betrayal makes my stomach twist into a knot and flames burst out of my ears. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't eat. The unfolding emotions were killing me. Realizing my marriage was a sham, I wanted revenge on both Shauna and her lover. I spent the next few hours looking around the house. Trying to find something, but not knowing what I was looking for, was frustrating. A boiling rage fueled my search. Nothing caught my attention. My next step was to look at my credit card statements. Since Shauna travels at least twice a month, I figured there must be some information in her purchases. In a way, I was right. Reconciling her credit card travels, every other month one of the trips did not have credit card usage. On those trips, the only charge was for airport parking. She uses her business credit card for tickets, hotels, and travel. Everything else is recorded on her personal card, and she submits an expense report. Am I to believe that she was paying cash or just not eating out on these trips? With what I saw on the traffic cam, it made sense. She was having a 2-day affair under the guise of a trip. I had to find out who she was with. It's not that complicated. I'll ask for a copy of the accident report. Shauna keeps a file cabinet with his important papers. I wondered if her expense papers were somewhere. She's so organized, it only took a few minutes to find the right folder. Another minute to make sure that trips without using a credit card weren't recorded on her expense account. I wanted to get drunk, but I knew I shouldn't. Did it matter how long this went on? Not really. Cold, calculating betrayal. My revenge will be crafted to match the depth of her deception. In the divorce, I'll be fair. What choice I have? She'll get her 50%. A prenup? Yes, that's right. She'll get her 50%. Sleep came slowly, and the coffee needed more time to get my brain working in the morning. When I turned on my phone, it had a message from Shauna saying she'd be home later today. I headed off to work without even trying to call back. After poring over the internet looking for divorce tips, I checked our joint accounts. I would only need to open an account in my own name. The brokerage account would be a little more complicated. There was no way to move positions, so I sold enough to reach the 50% mark. I'll go back and transfer my half when the time comes. Not wanting to take any chances, I didn't talk to any of my friends, family, or coworkers about the impending divorce. At lunchtime, I received a copy of the police report of the accident. There's no doubt about it now. It lists her as the injured passenger in the pickup truck. I didn't get the name of the owner of the truck, Ray Stronzo. It still puzzled me how I could have recognized the stupid truck. At least I had her lover's address. It was 3 blocks from where we lived. A quick online check turned up a deed to the address. The lover owned it with Jill Stronzo. Must be his wife. Other web pages I found gave some personal information about both Ray and Jill. It looked like they both went to the same high school as Shauna. When Shauna called at the end of the workday, I figured I'd better answer or she'd know something was wrong. "You're back, sir. I've been trying to call you since last night. Is everything okay?" I found my phone was off this morning and again around lunchtime. I should probably get it and check it out. How was the trip? It was fine until the cab ride. I'm going to have to put makeup on to cover the cut on my forehead. Are you taking a girl out to dinner? Sure, although I don't have much of an appetite. Pick a place and I'll meet you there. I took the long way to the restaurant. As I drove past the Stronzo residence, I didn't notice the truck in front of the house. There was a flag hanging from the porch, and I realized what it was. The University of Michigan flag. This is the same truck we see at Michigan soccer games in Ann Arbor. That's why there are blue and yellow stripes on the truck. At dinner, I really tried, to look normal. But Shauna sensed something was wrong. Is something bothering you, Blake? You seem very distracted today. I have a lot on my mind. Don't let it bother you. As Shauna began her nightly makeup removal ritual, I climbed into bed and pretended to be asleep. Shauna was naked as she slid into bed and snuggled up against me. All I had to do was picture her with Rayem, and I remained limp. She gave me a little shake but left her love venture behind. In the morning when I left for work, Shauna was sound asleep. I rummaged through her car and found a cell phone hidden in the back seat cushions. Turning it on and scrolling through the texts confirmed that Shauna and Ray had been at it for months, if not longer. Well, kids, I don't know what your punishment will be, but there will be a price to pay. I'm not a violent person. I can't imagine doing anything physical to either of them. Creative thinking was required. I decided that meeting with the lawyer would be detrimental to my plan. I was completely stunned when I found out about her affair. If my plan came to fruition, I would have to act quickly to protect what I could. I bought what I needed and spent the weekend avoiding Shauna. She wanted to make love on Saturday, so we did. After she was done, we lay in silence until she tried to seduce me again. Frustrated, she gave up and we fell asleep. I got up early Monday morning and spent some time in the park. I needed to make sure I chose the path I really wanted to take. Shauna's dilemma. I thought I had everything under control until that phone call. Monday mornings are always a stressful time at work. I answer several calls an hour. My office phone rang. The caller ID showed private. It's Shauna. I know what you're doing with Ray. I want in on it. The quiet voice belonged to a man. The voice had an annoyingly high-pitched nasal tone. It cut off before I could respond. My mind was racing. I've been exposed. For the rest of the day and the rest of the evening, I wasn't myself. One of our nightly activities was a cup of hot tea. It seemed to relax us both. Blake always drinks it before bed. Blake seemed worried. Are you sure you're okay? You're really acting like something's bothering you tonight. I'm fine. It's just that something at work is bugging me. I have other things to think about. Do you know of anything that might keep a girl busy for a while? I'd like to say we made love, but I felt like Blake was just having sex with me. I came to the conclusion that I wasn't going to be blackmailed. I'll wait and see what the outcome is. I had nightmares about Blake finding out. Thinking about it convinced me not to see Ray again. It's Shauna, same voice as before. You ready to come make me happy? No. And this time I hung up. Not more than a minute later. It's Shauna. You both snore. You were wearing a blue teddy bear t-shirt last night. You sleep on the right side of the bed. You weren't wearing panties, so I got a good shot of your body. I doubt he heard me sigh as he hung up after making his statement. I rushed down the hallway and threw up in the first open stall. When I found my car after work, there was a small envelope pinned under the windshield wiper. I cried for 30 minutes after seeing the picture of my body from last night. It was in my bedroom. I felt violated. What had I gotten myself into? That night at home, I busied myself with paying bills and organizing dues. How did he sneak in here in the middle of the night? Is it a friend of Ray's? Is it Ray's enemy? That voice didn't sound familiar. I'd remember that annoying sound. Blakey, do you think we can lock the outside doors? I think so. What made you bring that up? I just heard about the recent break-ins. I don't want anyone breaking into our house when we're home. I'll put it on the to-do list. I didn't get a good night's sleep. Every little creak the house made scared me. This morning I struggled to come to my senses. My nightmare continued. It was Shauna, the voice I was so afraid of. Nice pajamas last night? Ready to be my slave? Who are you? What do you want? You know what I want. Your place or mine. Come to my house, asshole. I'll put a hole the size of a tennis ball in your chest. There was no response. I asked for and got a 2-hour lunch break. I was a mess. Who could I turn to? I had kept my affair with Ray a secret from everyone. That's not right, is it? From everyone except at least one stalker. Blake had sex with me again. Now I wonder if he knows anything. We don't make love anymore. Maybe we haven't made love in a long time. I've been so consumed with sex with Ray that I must have missed my home personal life. The lack of sleep is starting to take its toll on me. Blake, I think I'm getting sick. I'm sleeping in the guest bedroom, so you're not getting anything. No. I like the firmness of the bed in the guest bedroom. I'll sleep there. Blake, I've been having nightmares. I'll keep my gun on me at night. Warn me before you go into the bedroom. I will. I don't need Annie Oakley doing a number on me. Why don't I put a handle on the bedroom door? I'll put it on the to-do list. Sleep tight. Now, I'm really wondering if Blake knows anything. What's this sleep tight thing? He always ended his goodbyes with, love you. When was the last time I heard, love you? After Blake left for the guest bedroom, I pulled a chair over to my bedroom door. I placed a few knickknacks on the windowsill and slipped the gun under Blake's pillow. Hopefully, if my stalker showed up tonight, he'd make enough noise to wake me up and I'd blow his ass up. It's Shauna. Well, I stopped by, but I don't see a hole in her chest. Nice trinkets. I took a few of them. With Blake in the other bedroom, maybe I can drug him. Then you and I can have some good fun. The headboard of the bed should be perfect for handcuffs. He hung up before I could react. I rushed home for lunch. Am I in trouble? If I go to the police, Blake will find out about my affair. What choice do I have? I have to tell someone. I'm not going to be some stalker's plaything. Ray wanted to meet me tonight, but I talked him out of it. I have a disposable cell phone I keep in my car, and I use it to contact Ray. I told him we needed to chill right now. His texts indicated that he was not happy with the decision. I don't know if the stalker found me by following Ray. I'm so scared and confused. Should I just submit to him? How will this end? Maybe I should tell Blake and ask for his help. My poor performance was noticed by my immediate supervisor. I got the standard pep talk. This is so embarrassing. I've never needed it before. Heading into his office, I could feel his eyes on me and hear him chuckling. I cried for an hour before Blake came home. I cleaned myself up and applied some fresh makeup before joining him for dinner. After hanging a few bells on the window and door, I felt a little calmer. Try sneaking in here now, you pervert. Friday morning, I tried my best to be productive. That only lasted until his call. It's Shauna. Very cute with the bells. You had me worried for a minute, but you slept through the whole thing. Did you see me unload your gun and put the bullets on the windowsill? I got your trinkets back, too. I need Blake. I can't do this alone. If I told him, I'd have to do it alone anyway. What a mess. The weekend's still a long way off. At least he won't torture me at work. What if he's going to do something to me this weekend? I wasn't in the mood for sex, and Blake was perfectly happy avoiding me. Since the trip was scheduled for next Wednesday, I didn't know whether to agree or cancel. When is this asshole going to come pick me up? Is he really sick enough to follow me down the road? Blake was sound asleep when I finished showering Saturday morning. He never sleeps late. I shook him a few times before he came to his senses. He sat up and looked at me somewhat dumbfounded. Wow, am I out of it today? What time is it? It's almost 9. Are you feeling okay? Rubbing his neck, he shuddered. My neck hurt. I looked and saw a spider bite or something on his neck. It looks like you've been bitten. Let me get you a Band-Aid. The rest of the morning was filled with the usual weekend chores. Around lunchtime, Blake went to get Jamba Juice. My cell phone rang, and the number was private. My mother hides all her calls, so I answered. Hi. I tried a tranquilizer dart on Blake last night. I can see he's alive, so I think we can move on. I pressed the button. I was shaking. My legs were shaking. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't hold my stomach in. I sprayed half a can of deodorant to completely cover up the evidence. I have to tell Blake. I can't keep doing this. I can't tell Blake. I'm so confused. Why did I even do this? My head was spinning. All this drama for what? It's just sex. It's not love. Ray was never such a great lover, even in high school. What was I thinking getting involved with him? Sunday was no better than Saturday. Every time the phone rang, my blood pressure skyrocketed. When I answered the private call, he was there again. Blake was working in the backyard on the mower. Hey, time's up, Shauna. Next time you're alone, you'll be my cheating girlfriend. And the connection was gone before I could respond. I was sweating and trembling. Sooner or later, I'm going to be alone in the house. I couldn't take it anymore. The day dragged on. I glanced nervously at the clock. I didn't want to sleep tonight. Just before I went to sleep, my world turned upside down. I have to run back to the office. I won't be gone more than 90 minutes. Please don't go, Blake. Can't it wait till morning? I'll be gone for a while. I'll see you soon. I made sure all the doors and windows were locked. Closing the bedroom door and hanging up the bells, I sat on the bed with the lights on. Grabbing the gun from under my pillow, I checked the magazine and made sure it was loaded. My heart raced and I panicked when I heard the floor creak. I hesitated, pointing the gun at the door and window. When the doorbell jingled, I fired. I heard a groan and fired again and again and again. The door swung open and a body dressed in black fell face down. I was shaking and looked down to see that I had peed in the bed. I was shaking so hard I could barely use my cell phone. 911. What's your emergency? I just shot someone in my house. I have a gun pointed at the body. I'm afraid to go near him. Try to stay calm, ma'am. Can you give me your address? 5 minutes later, though it seemed like hours, the first patrol car arrived. A minute later, an ambulance and some paramedics arrived. Half an hour later, the place was swarming with police. I wanted Blake. I wanted Blake. Where, Blake? We have a do-it-yourself law in this state. Uninvited guests in your house. Kill them as you see fit. If the intruder dies, the investigation is closed. Paramedics quickly rushed the man to the hospital. He had lost a lot of blood, but he was alive. Blake sits and waits. I told Shauna I was going to the office. Once in the garage, I put on latex gloves. I found Shauna's burner phone in her car, copied the message that had freaked me out earlier, and sent it to Ray. It hadn't changed, just like it had months ago. The time sent was almost exactly the same as it was then. I put her phone back where I'd picked it up. I turned down the street and waited for the only light to come on in her bedroom. I only had to wait a few minutes. I went back in and unlocked the front door. I hurried away and soon found myself in my office. We have a lot of security cameras, and I need my access card to get through the gate into the building and then into my office. I turned on my computer, but just sat there pondering. Would this really work? Once I had my plan in place, I bought a burner phone and downloaded a voice disguise app. I could sense the panic in Shauna's behavior that first night at home. Every night I slipped sleeping pills into her hot tea. Once in bed, she would pass out. That first night, I turned her around so I could get a good picture of her body and printed it on our printer. The panic in her voice on the second day was exactly what I was hoping for. She was unconscious every night, so I could make a lot of noise, and she didn't move. Friday night, I got up around 3 a.m. and with an English pin poked a hole in the back of my head. Finding blood, I washed away the traces of the English pin. Taking 3 sleeping pills, I quickly passed out. I pondered a text I had written a few months earlier that angered me. He just left for the office. Get your body in here. You don't have much time. I figured it was time for me to go home in about an hour or when the police called. An hour meant the plan didn't work. The police would mean success. A call came in on my cell phone. It's Blake. Mr. Fall? Who is this? Sir, it's Sergeant Willis. There's been a shooting at your house. Your wife is unharmed, although she's pretty shaken up. Will you be able to come home and comfort her? I'm on my way. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Who doesn't like it when a plan comes together? Arriving home, I found the neighborhood flooded with red and blue flashing lights. Making my way past the sentries, I entered my house. Upon seeing me, Shauna jumped to her feet. She hugged me tightly and began sobbing. Detective Sampson sat down across from Shauna and me. Mrs. Fall, the intruder's name is Ray Stronzo. Do you know him? Oh, God, no. I'm so sorry, Blake. Oh, my God. And she cried uncontrollably. I'm sorry, Detective. My wife is obviously upset about all this. Just give her a minute to calm down. All right, let's try this again. You seem to know Ray Stronzo, don't you? We went to high school together. About that time, the officer patted Detective Sampson on the shoulder and whispered in his ear. He stood up and left the room for a moment. I tried my best to look shocked when he came back and started talking. Mrs. Fall, I'm going to take you in for questioning. Officer, please handcuff her. Shauna Fall, you have the right to remain silent. What's going on, Detective? We found his cell phone. Your wife invited him over tonight. We need to find out something. Why? You asshole. Blake, I didn't do anything. Please don't go. I need you. Please. I walked out of the house without looking back. It was all I could do to hold back a smirk. I watched from the driveway as they led Shauna away. She was still begging, "Help me, Blake, please, help me." "No, you're not some random cheater. It's only a matter of time until they find your phone and the text you sent inviting Ray to come over." I made sure they locked the house after the yellow tape was in place. I spent the night in a motel. Even the most outrageous plans have a chance of working. Shauna used his one phone call to get his parents involved. The police got a search warrant and found Shauna's disposable cell phone. With the history of these disposable phones talking and texting each other, it didn't look good for Shauna. My first call was to start divorce proceedings. The finances were revealed and documented. Shauna would get her 50%, but I wouldn't have to pay her legal fees for attempted first-degree murder. I took 50% in cash from our joint accounts. I opened an account in my name only and changed my direct payroll deposit to use that account. The brokerage account was easy because half of it was cash. The divorce attorney had it all sorted out before Ray even started any legal action. It was a good thing, he assured me. As soon as the yellow tape was removed, I packed up all of Shauna's belongings and took them to her parents' house. I hired professionals to clean the house. My lawyer accompanied me to the only interrogation I was invited to by the police. She tried to convince them that I was the one who set her up. It was the only thing that made any sense to her, as she told them she did not send that last text message. When asked if there was cell tower info on her phones, they said there was, and that was consistent with my story and their assumption that she was a cold-blooded criminal. Apparently, Annie Oakley is suffocating under the pressure. Only 2 of the 5 bullets struck flesh. One lacerated the abdomen, destroying a kidney. The other hit the right ear. I think I can live with that, though I was hoping for more out of all that gun training. I watched from the gallery as she argued her case. She'd been stalked, but she hadn't told anyone about her affair. She never sent that message. My husband must have known and set me up. The press found out she was offered a plea bargain. I think her overconfidence in her ability to handle the situation has gotten the best of her again. Guilty. 20 years. I didn't wait until after the divorce to start sleeping around. There are plenty of groupies willing to help out a horny husband once the wife has served her time. Shauna's assets were depleted pretty quickly, fighting for her freedom. I wasn't on the hook, and even if Ray had tried to sue, there were no joint assets with any significant value. Paying a lawyer to get a moral victory didn't make sense, so no trial ever happened. I really need help dealing with the jealousy. The end. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.